And this is also why, if you've seen pictures of Jupiter, there's all these kind of bands of storms that go around the planet, and that's related to how fast the rotation is, which is, again, just fascinating to think about Zeus and the storm god and the way, oh my goodness, the atmosphere is moving in Jupiter. Wow. Astrology is deriving symbolism for what these planets mean through our visual experience of them. So the way that they look to us literally is how we are coming up with meaning and symbolism for them. So it's very significant to note some of these more literal features of Jupiter. My name is Alina, and I am the astrologer for creatives and change makers with a physics BS from Yale. Jupiter is abundance, good fortune, good luck, joy, optimism, faith, expansion, big picture thinking. I really think about Jupiter as like Santa Claus energy or Oprah energy, like you get a car and you get a car. Everyone's wishes are granted, kind of like the genie almost in the zodiac. Jupiter is also associated with faith, justice, God. There's a little bit of a righteousness to Jupiter and an ethos, like a moral imperative here. Philosophy and knowledge are also associated with Jupiter. Authority, heads of holy places, freedom, sometimes wealth, although money is sort of more Venus, but like the abundance of wealth can also be Jupiter. Grandeur, your sense of reaching for more. Also generosity, philanthropy, donation. Those are all sort of Jupiter topics as well, kind of giving away freely. A little bit the opposite of Saturn in that sense, where Saturn is sort of like stinginess and like holding on to things, and Jupiter is just giving away without attachment. We can also think of Jupiter as broadening our understanding of these kind of big picture things. And in ancient times, Jupiter was also associated with children, as sort of back in the day, children were more associated with wealth in a sense, where you would have children to be able to help you around the farm, and children were very much like put to work and a part of building the abundance and the wealth of the family. And so sometimes there's also a fertility association with Jupiter as well, or the abundance of children. So in both very ancient Babylonian times and in less ancient but still very ancient Greek times, Jupiter was associated with, in the Babylonian era, Marduk, and the Greek era, Zeus. But in both of these mythologies, Jupiter, archetypally Marduk or Zeus, came to fight for the team of the new gods who were waging war against the old gods, and with the help of Jupiter, Zeus, Marduk, the newer gods were able to take over, and Zeus, Marduk, Jupiter was only willing to do this in exchange for becoming king of the gods. So that is sort of the ancient archetypal realm of what Jupiter signifies. Zeus is also known as the leader of the gods, the protector of justice and law, guardian of the state, god of wisdom, and was also known to control the fates of humans. And Zeus is, of course, also sort of god of storms, known with his lightning bolt and thrusting that around. And Marduk in Babylonian times was also associated with ordering the cosmos and organizing the universe, and also the guardian of justice and law as well. As far as Jupiter's astronomy goes, it's so fascinating the way that, of course, in ancient times people were not able to see the planets up close or know much about what was really going on there. They didn't even know they were planets. They thought they were stars, wandering stars. But now that we have all of these fancy telescopes and technology and science, we are finding that there is so much that makes sense with Jupiter's astronomy that matches his astrology. So Jupiter is, of course, the biggest planet in the solar system, fifth from the sun, a gas giant. The mass of Jupiter alone is 2.5 times the mass of all the other planets in the solar system. Huge. For the planet of expansion, growth, and big picture thinking, it makes sense that he happens to be the biggest. Also very bright in the night sky. If you look out, you should go watch the stars sometime. You'll notice Jupiter's quite bright. And of course, astrology is deriving symbolism for what these planets mean through our visual experience of them. So the way that they look to us literally from our eyes is how we are coming up with meaning and symbolism for them. So it's very significant to note some of these more literal features of Jupiter. It's interesting that one of the famous things about Jupiter's astronomy is that there's this big red dot on Jupiter, which is this storm that's been happening nonstop for centuries, which is just fascinating to think of Jupiter as also the god Zeus in the Greek pantheon, god of storms with his lightning bolt, and that it is actually has this very stormy nature to it, which is kind of funny. I always kind of felt like Zeus was funny as a representation of Jupiter because Zeus is kind of like punishing, not really known for being like a great guy that you want to be around, which is not at all what Jupiter signifies. Jupiter is like joy, optimism, faith, and all of the good, abundant things. But for whatever reason, there is kind of both of those things that are a part of Jupiter, literally and figuratively. It's also funny that Jupiter has no solid surface. It is a gas giant, which is making me think of this connection between Jupiter being the more masculine of the two benefics, where the feminine qualities are associated with being more earthly, material, sensual, grounded, practical. Water and earth are both elements that are associated with being feminine. All of the feminine signs in the zodiac are either water or earth signs, whereas masculine signs are the air and fire signs. So a gaseous planet is literally just kind of like air and heat without that earth material stuff of the feminine elements. So it's interesting that Jupiter also literally is just gas, which, you know, archetypally in this framework is sort of more masculine. Another thing about the stormy nature of Jupiter is that it has the fastest rotation of any of the planets, even though it is enormous, 2.5 times the size of any of the other planets. It's going in its full rotation in only 10 hours. So that's crazy fast. And it's so big that because it's spinning so fast and is so big, it actually looks like a little bit smushed, like it's a little bit oblong because the spin is so fast. It's creating this kind of like disc type of nature that flattens it out just a little bit. And this is also why, if you've seen pictures of Jupiter, there's all these kind of bands of storms that go around the planet. And that's related to how fast the rotation is, which is, again, just fascinating to think about Zeus and the storm god and the way, oh my goodness, the atmosphere is moving in Jupiter. Wow. And then this whole thing with Zeus also having lots of kids. This is part of the reason that fertility in children are also associated with Jupiter. Zeus has so many kids, dozens of kids. And fascinatingly, Jupiter, literally astronomically, has like tons of moons. It has like over 90 moons. And actually, one of the moons of Jupiter is one of the biggest moons, is one of the places in the solar system that we are thinking is the most likely possibility to find life, which is fascinating. Also with this connection with children, new life. On this moon called Europa, there is an icy surface and then a saltwater ocean underneath of the icy surface. So this is why scientists are thinking, maybe there could be some life here. So Jupiter, children, abundance, this kind of like optimism, faith, as just makes a lot of sense to me too, that he would be the planet that actually has a child that is like, you know, if you think of the moons as like the children of the planets, because they can literally be like chunks of the planet that kind of like didn't congregate and form into the planet itself, but just kind of kept in rotation. So it could be like literally a chunk of the planet that came off from like an asteroid or something, or it could be like when the cosmic dust was coagulating into these solid planets, there were chunks that kind of like stayed along the outside. So I think symbolically it makes sense to kind of think of the moons as like the children of the planet. And so one of Zeus's children in this literal astronomical sense could be a place where we might find life outside of Earth, which is like so cool. This video is a part of a series I'm doing, so if you want to learn about any of the other planets, you can check out this whole playlist, this planetary playlist, to go deep into each of the planetary symbols in astrology. If there's something that didn't make sense or you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments. And if you are resonating with my understanding of astrology, know that I offer consultations. So I do 60 or 90 minutes where we can get into the birth chart as a symbol of who you are, and also some timing things if you go for a 90-minute consultation where we can talk about your future, the year ahead, when you might experience career peaks and things like that. Both of these readings come with a long write-up, 10 to 15 pages, breakdown, plus a recording of our session that you can refer back to. And then if you have any specific questions or things you're going through that you want to talk about, we can zoom in on specific things as well. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about any of that, and if I might be a good fit for you and can help you with what you are looking for, reach out to me, let me know what you're thinking about, and we can talk. Thank you so much for being here with me. Be well.